Shane has always been one of my favorite movies. You know, I'm not a big cowboy movie fan, but Shane is a film that transcends the genre of cowboy movies, and to me is one of the truly great American films. First of all, it's such a beautifully made movie. Let me get that out of the way. The photography, the editing of the movie, the production of the art direction of the movie, it's just a knockout. The way that he conceived, or at least researched, the town, isolated as it was in the picture, is so beautiful, and the ranch house and the vistas that he shows in the movie are so wonderful, and all the editing in the movie is so exciting and so beautifully done. You know, you can see it in the great fight between Van Heflin and Alan Ladd, how the cutting is done, and you know, the scenes that stand out in the movie, the entrance of Jack Palance into town, and the scene that nobody ever forgets where he kills Elisha Cook Jr., shoots him right on the steps of at the bar. It's just so many outstanding moments and beautifully done sections of the film, and the relationships in the film are great. Naturally, the relationship between Alan Ladd and Brandon DeWilde is a charming and wonderful relationship. But the fact that the stranger comes to the house and the woman starts to fall in love with him, you know, it's so dimensional for a Western. It's got so much heart, and it's performed so well by Gene Arthur. It's a human story with a kid, an interesting kid who's obsessed with gunfighting. You know, and as I said, a woman who gets taken with the stranger who's living in their house for a while, even though she's a very happily married woman to a wonderful guy, and yet she still is attracted to Alan Ladd. And of course, the thrilling moment when Alan Ladd goes into town, Shane rides into town and kills Jack Palance. This is one of the great moments in movies for me for a number of reasons. First of all, in life, you know, unfortunately, there are certain situations that can only be resolved with violence, that can only be resolved with the killing of the other person. There is, unfortunately, that does come up in life's tragic kind of scenario. And very few people can handle that kind of thing. And here's a guy who takes it upon himself to go into town and takes on the burden of the homesteaders, and he goes in and kills them. He kills Jack Palance, and it's gunfighting, which I think only existed in movies, but even so, it's become mythologically accepted at this point. Gunfighting, you know, is an art form. I mean, he's a great gunfighter, and you're rooting for him, and he goes in there, and nobody else is going to be able to do it. If left to their own devices, Jack Palance would probably kill any number of them. But this is a guy that says, leave it to me, I'll take care of it for you, and goes in there, and with courage and guts that I could never have, just, you know, confronts him in the bar, and when the time comes, kills him, and kills the other guys in the bar as well. And so when the townspeople wake up the next morning, their life has changed completely, and it's changed in a way that could have only been done with violence. And no amount of reason, no amount of negotiating, nothing could have been done except you needed somebody who was willing to do it and could do it, could turn the trick. And so it had a very thrilling resonance for me in life, where that kind of thing doesn't really happen very often, but it's wonderful when it does happen. And I was only saddened by the ending, that when Shane rides off, you know he's wounded and assume that it's mortally wounded. This is one of the few films that I personally would have rather had a Hollywood ending on, and had made it clear that he did the job and then moved on without any problem for himself, without getting wounded himself. But that contributes to the great poetry of the movie, and it will always be a film that when I come to it, I've seen it 100 times, when I come to it on television, if I'm on my treadmill or doing something and the TV is on, and if Shane is on, I drop everything from whatever point I tune in on it, at the beginning, middle, end, and watch it through to the end, and I guess I always will.